to my channel. This is Prepping by Faith, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about 5 ways to get ready for a recession. Now, everything that I'm going to share with you today is just my own personal experience. This is not going to be financial advice, and hopefully it's going to be something to give you some sort of insight into what you can do to get ready, maybe some things that you haven't been thinking about. So the first one that I wanted to mention is to pool your resources. And as many of you know, I do share a home with my parents. That is something that we did to pool our resources, to save money, to help us to be able to handle the increases in taxes and insurance and utility prices and everything else, because Colorado is a very expensive state. And if we were trying to afford our own place, it would be very, very difficult, and I'm not sure that we could actually even do it on one income. Any sort of repairs that need to be made to the home. These are all things that we share, and so it has greatly helped us to alleviate the burden of these extra costs. So if you guys are not comfortable doing something like that, I know that's more of a larger step. It's something that you would do as more of a drastic approach. Somebody may not be comfortable with that, but there are still other ways that you can pool your resources. One of the things I mentioned a while back, and I'm not sure if many of you saw that video, is just that you can pool your resources in the sense of carpooling is a wonderful way. With the added increases in fuel, especially we're in a lull right now, but those are probably going to go up again. And so a wonderful way that you can do that is just start carpooling, taking turns, or one person drives for the month, whatever it is, finding somebody in your workplace that would be willing to do that with you to help absorb those costs. Another thing you could do is you could pool your resources with somebody that you trust as far as a large purchase. If there's something that you've been wanting to get that's maybe out of your price range, but it's something that you both are really interested in, maybe pooling your resources to get that large item. It could be something like, a freeze dryer, or, whatever it is, something large like that maybe is really pricey, that you just can't quite afford right now, but it's something that you'd like to have. That is something that you could do. Now, obviously, that does have some risk associated with it, and you would have to be able to trust that other person, but that is a way that you can mitigate all of these added costs as we enter into this recessionary period and possibly a depression. So the second thing I wanted to mention is don't ever pay full price for anything. So when we're talking about, getting our, whatever it is that you're looking for, whether it's a generator or it's freeze-dried food or whatever it is that you're trying to purchase and put up, whether it's clothing for your children, or maybe it's even Christmas gifts and you're thinking about getting things like that. Always look for those sorts of things, especially when it comes to clothing and toys and other household items. You can find those things on clearance, and always be searching for those things ahead of time. They do have sales. As far as appliances and things go, when you need those replaced, if any of you are retired military, armed forces, whatever it is, veterans, you guys can wait until Veterans Day. I know that is one way that we've saved a lot of money when we needed to purchase an appliance. They do run really good sales on that day. Memorial Day is another one where I've been able to get some really good deals as far as clearance items. And obviously, the Black Friday time frame is another one. Not necessarily that particular day, but the week leading up to it, and even days after Cyber Monday, those sorts of things. So be thinking about things that you need now, maybe things that you need spares of, whatever it is. And I know that, as far as freeze-dried food, Amazon runs sales regularly. I would never pay full price for any of those things. Just kind of watch those, and sometimes those prices fluctuate on the daily, so being aware of that. So don't pay full price for anything. And even if it's, something else like, a larger purchase, you can always look on eBay or, garage sales or, marketplace, whatever it is in your area. Be looking for those things and on the lookout. Don't pay full price for anything, because when you do, you already know that that item is going to depreciate right away. So the third thing that I wanted to mention is just to invest in yourself. And what I mean by that is, time is one of our greatest resources. So putting the time into yourself, sometimes it doesn't even have to be monetary. If there's a class or something that you want to take that does require money, obviously investing in yourself to acquire those skills and that knowledge is really important. But one of the other things that you can do is watch a lot of, YouTube videos on whatever it is that you're trying to learn how to do. And a lot of those things, my husband is a prime example of someone who's done a lot of that. He already has, electrical background, but he's also been able, to do things that he hasn't been familiar with, as far as making minor repairs to plumbing and, switching out spark plugs, or changing out a filter in a car, certain things, installing different items that we have. We had a situation recently where our front door has actually not been shutting properly. The lock hasn't been lining up, and he spent a lot of time researching that as to how to fix it. And what it was is the door itself became too heavy over time, and so that hinge at the top was not holding the weight of the door, and so it had slipped down to where those locks were no longer lining up with the hole that's drilled inside the door. And he was able to research that and find a tool that only cost about $30 to tighten that hinge up. Now, you could do that with a crescent wrench, obviously, but that's going to leave more damage on that hinge. So he was able to fix this door now to where it is like it's brand new, just from doing a little bit of research himself, rather than us calling somebody. Something that I've talked about doing, especially during the lockdowns and stuff, was just, cutting his hair myself. The other thing that I do regularly is groom my dog. So she may not look professionally done with her haircut and stuff, but it's something that I do to help us save money, and it's a skill that I've acquired that I know how to do, so she doesn't go to a groomer. And that also has other benefits. She's not in there in those situations where she can catch anything that's going around in the kennels and that sort of thing, and then add to our bills that way with more vet trips. So you need to be thinking about these sorts of things. Anything that you can do to add to investing into yourself and your skills is really going to pay off in the long run. So the fourth thing, I know a lot of people talk about getting out of debt, and I feel like that's more of a presumptuous statement. A lot of us can't just get out of debt. I'm sure if all of us could just wave a magic wand and make the debt disappear like the student loans, we would all love to do that, right? But it's not possible. So I want to say, rather than getting out of debt, paying down debt. So if you have a situation where you have a mortgage, most of us do, and you don't have a fixed rate, please consider getting that fixed rate mortgage and getting that situation taken care of, because the last thing that you want is those payments to continue climbing out of hand on you, and then you lose your home potentially. So always look for fixed rate. The other thing I would suggest you do, if you have credit cards, or you have other things that you have, personal loans, whatever it is, anything that you have that highest rate on, pay that down first, or work on paying that down first. Start making a budget for yourself. Map out how much money you have coming in a month, and then figure out which one of those things you can allocate to start making the strides toward paying those things down. Everything is going to take time. You're going to have to take baby steps, but really tackling those things and prioritizing which ones need paid down over others is going to be a great idea. And then learning to live within your means, learning to figure out what is your budget and where you can cut spending in other areas. Maybe you're overspending on eating out, or maybe you're overspending on, there's something else that you enjoy doing, whether it's a hobby or whatever it is, and you're overspending in that area. Just figuring out ways to kind of tweak that budget so that you can live within your means and really start working on paying that debt down. So that's number 4. And number 5, guys, this is the last point that I wanted to make, is just learning to be content with less, learning to live with what you have. I know a lot of us look at others, and we, it's automatic, it's normal to go ahead and compare yourself to somebody else. I know I have relatives in my family that I look at and I think, wow, it must be nice to have, brand new cars, and it must be nice to be able to afford vacations every few months, and it must be nice to be able to do all of these sorts of things. But I've learned to be content in what I have, and I realize that what we have is a lot more than a lot of other people have. And so learning to just, going back to that video I did about being grateful for what you have and appreciating what you have, and understanding what is really important. We really only need the basics, right? Food, water, shelter. All the other things are bonuses, and remembering to just appreciate those things and to be content with what we do have and the situation that we're in. And then obviously we can set goals for ourselves at some point to have those other things if they're important to us. But one of the things I've learned is that even if you do end up acquiring some of those other things on your list, there's always going to be the next item that you want, right? It's a brief moment of gratification. And we are programmed in this country and really in the world to seek out that instant gratification. And it's a fleeting moment. Those aren't the things that really matter. It's, spending time with loved ones. It's making memories. It's, doing the things to get ourselves more self-reliant. Well, not necessarily self-reliant, but to get ourselves more self-sufficient. That's another topic for another day. I do feel that there's a big difference between being self-sufficient and self-reliant. So with all of that said, guys, those are my 5 points. I hope this has encouraged you today and helped give you some food for thought as to things that you can do to be prepared for the recession that's coming. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And remember to pray, prep, and put God first. God bless.